So what you're going to see is not the project that I planned. And so I hope that brings comfort to those of you who are thinking either you don't know your topic or you have one. I just say be open for miracles, because what I'm going to share with you is definitely a miracle in many ways. And as Julie is bringing it up, I just also want to, I don't think I have words to thank Jean for guiding me along the journey. And someone said earlier, she said, let's just see what emerges. And that's what she said to me. And I thought, let's just see what emerges.
Yes.
And so this is my first year postdoctoral project. And next slide, please. It's called Regala Healing, and I'll tell you more about that next. I thought I added this slide last night. I had completed this presentation a few days ago, but everyone was telling us about themselves. So I said, let me give some context. So this slide was actually made last year. So this year, I've been a nurse for 46 years. I'm actually a baby boomer who was born in Panama of Panamanian parents. Both grandparents are from Cuba. Both grandfathers are from Cuba. Both grandmothers are from the Caribbean. My first language, I should say, was Spanish. It is Spanish, but I speak Spanglish. I am a wife and a mother and a full professor. I am one of two, I'm first in many instances, but in terms of being a professor at Samuel Marriott University, a university that's over 100 years old, myself and another African-American faculty were promoted to full professor the same year, 2016, and we were the first ever in the university. I am a Caritas coach, proudly. That was taken last June. I've been a Reiki master for over 15 years. I'm heart math certified. And so I just put this byline. These are some of the things I do. I yearn for you to get to know who I am. Next, please.
Lovely.
Okay, so I call this the unknowing beginning. It was October 2019 in San Francisco at the CCEP graduation. And the graduates, I think maybe close to 20 of them, each got up and talked about their project in a very poetic form. Some of them read poems. I mean, it just blew my mind because I'm analytic, left brain, and I thought, I'm beginning this program and I don't do poetry, so I don't think I'm gonna make it. So next slide. So having that be in my mind, those of you might remember that my program of research has been among women who've had pregnancy loss, diverse women. My work has been done in the United States, and I had a team of 12 midwives in Mexico. A doctoral student in Spain recently replicated my work and spent the summer with me. So that is really pregnant women and helping them cope with loss is really my passion. I've written a theory about it. And so when this workshop became available November 2019, of course I went, and part of the workshop, as we talked about the issues that African-American women are experiencing in the pregnancy and birth experience, we did reflective writing exercises, which were absolutely powerful. And so my first expressive writing, and that's what I'll call it for now, came during the 3 minutes of the reflective writing exercise that happened in this workshop, November 19. Can you go to the next slide, please? And so I'm going to read it to you. And I entitled it, "It Hurts." It hurts because I buried experiences. It hurts because my emotions came through anyway. It hurts because my parents were the culprits. It hurts because I couldn't defend myself. It hurts because the abuse lived in the background, adversely impacting my life. It hurts because I didn't feel lovable. It hurts because feeling unworthy made me accept relationships which were unhealthy. Next slide. It hurts because I pushed people away who could have been helpful and loving. It hurts because I suffered emotionally most of my life. It hurts because I may have impacted others unknowingly. But now I am healing the hurts. Hurt is fleeting. Hurt is losing power. Hurt is dead. And I get to live and love again. Next slide. And so that was November. Couple months later, we were in month 4 of the CCEP program, and I did a self-care project for my project. And remember, at the time, the program was supposed to be 6 months, so this was month 4. And I did a project entitled it "Igniting Caritas Consciousness by Cultivating Self-Care and Self-Love." And it was from January 29 to February 29, 2019. No, 2020, sorry, it's 2020. And during those month-long days, I engaged in heart-centered guided meditation for 20 minutes a day, once a day. I wrote in my gratitude journal twice a day. And then this was pre-COVID. I had a massage once a week for 4 weeks. Next slide. And what I just want to show you, the piece is that I did pre and post intervention measures. And I used Jean's tool to measure self-care. And what, as you can see, I found that the daily micro practices influenced the increase in my self-care practices by 62%. So the pink is February, the light pink is February, the dark pink is January. So you can see in all areas that I did enhance my self-care practices. And the same thing happened with self-love. Next slide, please. And so here we are in April. So this is 6 months into the CCEP program, and which should have been the end, but because of COVID, we went another 2 months. So it was during this online exercise, a discussion board post, and Sue was in the same cohort with me. But Jessica, just not our Jessica here, but another Jessica in the cohort, she asked me, she said, "How have you become so Caritas literate in such a short time?" And I wrote her back and I said, "I don't know, but maybe my heart does."
Oh, wow.
And so then here comes number 2. So can you advance a slide? And so this is what I put on the post. I said, "The heart will, even if I won't. The heart will, even if I don't. The heart will, even if I can't. The heart will love, guide, nourish every time I need to flourish." Next slide. And so this, I thought, okay, there's something happening here. And there began this emergence. And I hope that I can adequately explain it to you. But it was just spontaneous. I could be cooking, I could be talking to my husband, I could be in the shower, and all of a sudden I get this energetic sensation in my head and my heart. And then words would start appearing.
Somebody's cat.
A title would appear, and then the first 4 lines would appear. And this sensation would not go away unless I sat down and typed out the words. And so I couldn't record it and I couldn't longhand write it. And what resulted was a series of what I now call regalos. So you can go to the next slide. And I want to show you the trajectory of this emergence. So in November 19, I wrote the one, It Hurts. Remember December, I had that gallbladder surgery, which was a nightmare. So December and January, I was healing. In February, I did the self-care project for CCEP. And my next writings started in April. So in April, I wrote 16. May, I wrote 42. Some days I wrote as many as 6 of these expressions. That I don't understand because that's the busiest month of the whole academic year. I'm wrapping up the year. I have doctoral students graduating. Okay, so in July, so May 42, June 8, July 11, August 13, September 7, and then January 2021, 2. It was in July that Jean and I connected. And that's when she said, just let it emerge. We're not going to do the theory right now. Just let this continue and emerge. And so that's what I did. So by the time I graduated in June, I had written 66. And I said, Jean, how many, when do I stop? This could go on and on. She said, you'll know when to stop. And so in September, I wrote 7. And so nothing happened October, November, December. So I thought I was done. I had about 99 by that time. And then here comes January and 2 more come. And then that was 100. And I said, okay, that's it. So that's the first group. Okay, next slide, please.
Now you can do it.
So let me tell you a little bit about these things I call regalos now. That naming them was another journey, but they're lyrical, they're they are anaphoras. They are fully formed and not edited. Most are 12 lines or 24 lines or multiples of 4. And they use my life experiences to illustrate the Caritas processes and 7 sacred sutras. The name Regalos came because one evening, I always read these Regalos to my husband as soon as I wrote them, even if it was the middle of the night, I would wake him up. And he says, this has been given to you. You must give them to the world. So I thought, okay, Regalos, it's a gift. And that's how they were named. Next slide, please.
Regalos in Spanish? Regalos is gifts.
Gift.
Yes, gift. Okay, so thank you, Julie. I get so excited about this work, so I get ahead of myself. Okay, so I thought Jean and I were talking about these 7 sutras, and I said, oh my goodness, my regalos. I can illustrate my regalos using the 7 sutras. So this is what I want to do. I'm not going to illustrate all of them, but I want to show you how some of my regalos illustrate some of the sutras. So next slide, please. So the first one is silence. And I wrote this one last summer. I don't know if you remember the heat wave in the Bay Area, but the electricity went out. And so I wrote this one just with my laptop, the light of my laptop. And it goes like this: silence due to the heat. Electricity could not compete. Silence created stillness, not due to illness. Silence was eerily palpable, yet felt affable. Silence gave access to higher consciousness, expanding cognizance. Silence made my senses attune, in readiness to commune. Silence created space for me to become a vessel for God's grace. So although I'm not going to illustrate spirit separately, my regalos are predominantly spirit reflective. Next one, please. Okay, simplicity. This one's a little longer. The simple things. The simple things I embrace. The simple things show joy on my face. The simple things make my heart race. The simple things create lasting memories. The simple things cultivate remedies. The simple things create a groundswell of gratitude. The simple things enrich my attitude. The simple things get my attention. The simple things need no mention. The simple things are gestures. The simple things relieve pressures. The simple things evoke pleasure. The simple things are what I treasure. Next, please. This is one of my favorite ones. But I have to tell you, because these emerge for me, when I read them, it's like I'm reading them like someone else wrote them. So this one I wrote after playing a round of golf with my husband, and it's called Wildlife Changed Me. Wildlife changed me today, and it's surrender. Wildlife changed me today while I was on the green. Wildlife changed me today. They made sure they were seen. Wildlife changed me today, prompting me to walk and not ride. Wildlife changed me today, allowing me to stand by their side. Wildlife changed me today, standing within arm's reach of a doe. Wildlife changed me today, not being seen as a foe. Next one. Wildlife changed me, connected by our gaze. Wildlife changed me today, standing still and not fazed. Wildlife changed me today as I watched her guide her kids away. Wildlife changed me today when I saw her turn her back to let me know they were off to play. Wildlife changed me today, and I asked myself, what is the message? It is to reveal God's essence within the beauty of his creatures and the magnetism of their features. Wildlife changed me today to increase my faith and courage, surrendering to God's plan for my life, to love and encourage. And this is an act, oops, can we go back? This is an actual picture I took of the mother and her babies. And that's when they were walking away, but she actually allowed me, I mean, I could have touched her, but she actually allowed me for our gazes to connect. It was the most beautiful, energetic experience. Okay, the next is, you'll see Jean. So this was very early, one of our earlier sessions. And so you got to be careful, because I might write one of these about you as well. I may get a download. But it's entitled Inspired. I'm inspired by my new mentor. I'm inspired by her humble surrender. I'm inspired by her luminous vision. I'm inspired by her caring precision. I'm inspired listening to the sounds from her soul. I'm inspired by the stories she has told. I'm inspired as she evokes the art. I'm inspired by my new mentors, dear heart.
Oh.
Next. Okay. So I'm sure you figured out that I am pretty type AAAA, and I like things to be in order. And so the book has been completed since the spring. And it's designed. Jean wrote the foreword. I have an introduction, acknowledgements, photo, it's just ready to go. But I had the work copyrighted. I had the logo trademarked. I had book reviews done 2 weeks ago. I did my first TV interview. I have a couple more in the wings and the podcast, but I held back. This is what I said. Reason I held back is because I wanted a marketing plan. I want a marketing plan to lead me to get my book out. But as I reflected more recently, I think I'm afraid to put my work out. See, that I think that's what it is, but we'll see. Anyway, next slide, please. And so what's in the making? I have a website being developed. Everyone says I have to have a website. In a couple of weeks, I have a branding photo shoot for my website. The marketing framework will be in progress. It will be I'm not going to let it hold me back. But I had to release perfection in order to get the wheels rolling again. Next slide. So this is the book cover, and the name of the book is Regala Healing, and that is the gift of healing. And more recently, I've had discussions, and it was important to include self-care. So this, an evocative invitation to self-care, will be a subtitle. And that came from Jean. The origin of this book cover, I asked the designer, he says, well, what color? I said, I'm not going to give you any direction. I said, I was just a vehicle. I said, read my work and see what you come up with. It's been incredible. That's my favorite color. There's something energetic about that light and the hand. So if I could have done it myself, that's exactly what I would have created. And I think we have. Okay, so I'm all about giving back. I've been the PI of a HRSA grant for the last 5 years that supported the education of Hispanic and African-American undergraduate nursing students. And these are some of the students that have graduated from the grant. And a portion of my book proceeds will be given to the scholarship that has been created in my name at Samuel Merritt University. But these are some of the benefits. And my vision, this is my vision, that a doctoral student or some literary expert or someone into this work will analyze my work, because it's lyrical. Someone wanted to write songs to it. There's something about the 12, 24 lines, and there's a message in the anaphora. And so I would love someone to analyze my work. My family says I have to develop t-shirts and mugs, so I'm going to do that. And then I plan to conduct workshops and seminars on the work. So lastly, this is one of my favorite Bible verses, and it's my closing intention. And that is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So that's my,
Wow.
so.
Oh, so special. Oh my goodness. Oh, a form of prayer of all of these projects are a form of prayer and praise. Oh,
Paulina,